I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about modifier placement. There are a couple of rules that you need to keep in mind when determining where to place a modifier. The first rule is that the modifier should always go as close as possible to the word or phrase that it is modifying. So that usually means putting the modifier directly before or directly after the word it's modifying. The second rule to keep in mind is that subjects should be placed as close as possible to the verbs with which they agree. So if we look at this sentence, the sample from a student's work, let's see what we can do to make sure that we are adhering to both those rules. Odysseus, isolated from his family and friends, searches for a way to get back home. The good news with this sentence is that the modifier is in fact placed correctly in the sense that it is right after the word it's supposed to be modifying. So there's no ambiguity or doubt about who is isolated from his family and friends. It's Odysseus. The problem comes in when we look at where the verb is placed. The verb is placed all the way over here on the other side of the modifier. And while it's not exactly grammatically incorrect, it's not as neat and the sentence doesn't flow as well from a stylistic perspective as it could. So I think the best option here is to move our modifier, isolated from family and friends. So we can just copy it, place it at the beginning of the sentence. Oops. Technical difficulties. So we place the modifier at the beginning of the sentence. We type in the word Odysseus right after, because that is whom is isolated from his family and friends. And then we copy and paste the verb phrase right after the subject. And now let's read through and see if we have not improved the flow of the sentence. Isolated from his family and friends, Odysseus searches for a way to get back home. I like it. The flow is smooth, there's no interruption, and I think the sentence makes sense. So we're done.